crescent moon a soft, sleepy invitation. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. You've arrived here to unwind, to rest, to drift gently towards sleep. And tonight, we wander through one of history's quiet wonders. A place that once breathed with knowledge like a living being. A place that has fascinated dreamers for centuries, the ancient library of Alexandria. But this is not a dramatic tale. There is no fire, no destruction, only calmness. Soft footsteps, dust floating like tiny golden stars, and the steady hush of scholars turning scrolls under warm Mediterranean light. In this quiet retelling, the library still stands, serene and alive. Its halls are cool and shaded. Its doors open with a gentle creak. Its gardens sway softly in the coastal breeze. Tonight, you walk there slowly, peacefully. Let your mind settle. Let your breath soften. As you prepare to stroll through the ancient world, unhurried and dreaming, sunrise a calm morning in Alexandria. Imagine yourself arriving in Alexandria on a slow, hazy morning. The sun is rising, but it hasn't yet reached its full brightness. The sea glows faintly with a silvery blue shimmer, brushing the edges of the harbor. Ships rest quietly in the distance, their sails still furled from a night of gentle waves. The air smells of salt, distant spices, and warm stone. Around you, the city begins to stretch awake softly, without rush. A merchant arranges clay pots with a faint clinking sound. A woman sweeps a doorway in calm, slow strokes. Two scholars in white robes speak in low voices, their words carried on the cool air. You begin walking toward the library district. The stone beneath your feet still holds a hint of night's coolness. Palm trees sway in silence, their leaves brushing together like the turning of soft pages. Every step you take feels unhurried, as though Alexandria itself wants you to move slowly, to take in everything gently, like a long breath before sleep. Classical building. First sight of the library. Soon you see it. The great library does not tower over the city like a monument. Instead, it rests gracefully, wide, open, inviting, with colonnades of pale stone and shaded gateways. Columns rise like quiet sentinels, each one smooth and cool in the morning air. Their tops hold simple carvings, lotus petals, waves, lines of script that only the librarians fully understand. The walls are worn beige, touched lightly by the sun. Vines grow across one corner, tiny flowers blooming in the early light. Nothing here is rushed. Nothing here demands attention. It simply exists, calm and unbothered, a place where time feels slower, softer, gentler. People move in and out of the entrance. Some carry scrolls tied with ribbons. Others hold wax tablets. A few simply wander, like you, letting their feet guide them through this quiet world of knowledge. You walk up the steps. Each step feels steady and grounding. And as you reach the doorway, a cool breeze slips from inside, the breath of millions of pages waiting in the shadows, glowing wine face entering the hall of light. The first hall is wide. Very wide. But not overwhelming. Instead, it feels open in a warm, welcoming way. Tall columns stand on either side, holding up a ceiling painted with soft blues and gentle golds, depicting constellations drifting across a night sky. Some stars are brighter, some dimmer, all placed with care, as though the painters wanted to mimic the feeling of drifting off to sleep under real starlight. Sunlight enters through high windows, falling in quiet beams that stretch across the floor. Dust particles float within them, like tiny, slow-moving worlds. And then you see them, walls lined with shelves. Tall shelves. Long shelves. Every shelf filled with scrolls of different colors and textures. Some tied with purple ribbon. some wrapped in soft linen, some sealed with small clay stamps bearing symbols, animals, constellations. The smell of old papyrus fills the air, dry, warm, faintly sweet. It is a comforting smell, a smell that suggests patience, silence, and stories waiting to be discovered. A librarian passes quietly nearby. His footsteps are barely a whisper. He carries a wooden tray with 3 scrolls, each one resting like a sleeping creature. He nods to you, smiling softly, as though to say, "Take your time. Everything here waits for you." Scroll the scriptorium, a heaven of quiet work. You wander deeper into the hall until you reach a room filled with gentle scratching sounds. This is the scriptorium, the place where scribes copy manuscripts by hand. Inside, the air feels warm, and a faint smell of ink floats around you. Scribes sit at low wooden desks. Their robes are white and loosely tied. Soft light falls across their work, making the papyrus glow gently in golden tones. Nobody speaks. The only sounds are, times the faint brushing of reed pens, times the soft crackle of papyrus being unrolled, times the rustling of someone stretching a stiff page, times a quiet breath as a scribe leans closer to add a tiny detail. One scribe notices you watching. He smiles, slow, patient, and motions for you to come closer. You walk to his desk. On the table lies a manuscript covered in tiny Greek letters. Each symbol is precise, as though carved from the air itself. He dips his pen in ink, then writes another line with slow, deliberate strokes. You watch him finish a sentence. He pauses, puts his pen down, stretches his hand, and nods, satisfied. There is no rush here. Knowledge does not hurry. Stories take their time. You stand quietly, letting the scene sink into your mind like a warm blanket. Heard the garden court. When you step outside again, you find yourself in a peaceful courtyard. Sunlight filters down through a latticed stone roof. Vines climb the pillars. Olive trees sit in clay pots, their leaves shimmering softly. A small fountain trickles in the middle, a gentle, constant sound like breath, or like the turning of a calm, steady page. Students sit on stone benches, reading scrolls. Some whisper quietly to one another, their voices blending with the fountain's rhythm. Others simply close their eyes, letting the sound wash over them. You sit on the edge of a bench. The stone is cool. A breeze moves through the court, carrying the scent of herbs, mint, rosemary, thyme. It is a simple moment. A peaceful moment. One that could exist in any century as long as people seek knowledge and gentle places to rest. The Hall of Maps. When you rise again, you walk toward one of the oldest wings of the library, the Hall of Maps. Its doorway is carved with waves. Not tall, crashing waves, but long, slow, rolling ones. Waves that look like they've been sleeping for 1,000 years. Inside, the room is dim. Niches in the walls hold clay tablets and inked cloths. Some maps show trade routes. Some show coastlines. Some show strange shapes that explorers once believed were faraway lands. A tall wooden table sits in the center, and a large parchment map is stretched across it. Lines ripple like gentle sighs. Names of distant places flow like soft music. A young mapkeeper stands beside it. He points to a river drawing in deep blue ink and quietly tells you, in a voice nearly softer than the room itself, that this was once believed to be the river that flowed backward. He smiles slightly, as if sharing a harmless secret of the ancient world. You nod. Nothing here feels urgent. Everything feels like a dream. High brightness symbol. The sunlit upper balcony stairs lead upward. They are wide, shallow steps designed for slow climbing. Your hand brushes the cool stone rail as you ascend. At the top is an open balcony lined with pillars that overlook the city. A soft breeze moves through the pillars, bringing the distant scent of seawater. Below you, Alexandria is fully awake now but still peaceful. Boats drifting, merchants folding fabrics, children carrying baskets of figs. Nearby, a few scholars stand at the railing discussing astronomy in low voices. But their discussions are soft, not passionate or loud. Just thoughtful, like people gently arranging the night sky with words. You lean slightly against a pillar and let the breeze brush your face. The city, the sea, the light, everything feels gentle, hushed, calm. You could stay here for hours and time would not mind, right? Pointing magnifying glass, a hidden room of curiosities. As you return inside, you notice a small corridor partly hidden by a curtain. Curiosity draws you in. The corridor is narrow and quiet and opens into a small chamber filled with objects. Strange objects. Beautiful objects. Objects that scholars collected from lands far away. On shelves you see, times a polished obsidian mirror, smooth and black as night, times a set of tiny clay animals, each no bigger than a fingertip, times a jar filled with shimmering sand from a desert across the sea, times feathers from unknown birds, arranged in a careful fan, times a scroll sealed with a gold clasp shaped like a sunburst. A thin coating of dust covers the shelves, but the dust is not neglect. It is simply the gentle, natural settling of time. You pick up nothing. You disturb nothing. You only look. The room feels like a whisper preserved in stone, a quiet echo of all the travelers who once carried their gifts to this place. Leaf fluttering in wind, the quiet lunch hour. Eventually, the library begins to shift as noon approaches. Librarians roll scrolls and tie ribbons. Students close their wax tablets. Scribes stretch their hands and backs. Nobody rushes to leave. They simply rise slowly and drift toward the courtyard or the shaded cloisters to eat bread, olives, figs, and to rest their eyes. You sit again near the fountain. Someone offers you a fresh fig. Its sweetness fills your mouth softly. The fountain continues its gentle trickle. A warm breeze moves across your skin. And somewhere nearby, a young student hums a slow, rhythmic tune without realizing it. Your eyelids grow heavier. Your body softer. The whole library seems to exhale as if encouraging you to relax even more deeply. Sun with small cloud. The afternoon come. When the sun reaches its highest point, the library grows quieter still. Some scholars nap in shaded corners. Others read slowly, letting the warm light lull them into a peaceful, meditative state. You wander again through the halls, but now the air feels drowsier, thicker, as though everything is covered in a soft blanket of sunlight. The walls glow warm gold. Shadows fall long and gentle. And each step you take echoes softly in the vast, ancient spaces. You reach the Hall of Philosophy, a place where quiet discussions normally occur. But now, most philosophers recline lazily on cushions, their scrolls resting on their chests, their eyes half closed. One man snores lightly. Nobody minds. The library seems to be dreaming with them. Diamond ship with a inside a small chamber of legends. Toward the back, you find a circular chamber decorated with frescoes of mythological scenes. Not the dramatic kind, but calm ones. Times a goddess pouring water from an urn, times a poet resting under a tree, times stars spilling gently from a celestial ball. A librarian inside the chamber is quietly unrolling a scroll. He invites you to sit and begins to read in a soothing voice. A tale of an ancient traveler who wandered the world collecting stories not to impress anyone, but simply because stories made him feel less alone. His voice rises and falls like waves against a calm shore. You lose track of time. It might be moments. It might be an hour. You sit. You listen. And your mind grows soft like warm sand beneath bare feet. Crescent moon, the approach toward evening. End of part 1. As the sun begins to lower, the library shifts into a different kind of quiet. Not the quiet of morning freshness, nor the sleepy quiet of midday, but a deeper, almost sacred hush, the kind that makes every sound feel meaningful. Librarians begin to gather loose scrolls. A few doors are gently pulled closed. The scent of the sea breeze cools, carrying the promise of a peaceful evening. But your walk is not finished. The library still has mysteries for you. Still has deeper chambers. Still has soft stories folded into its walls. The night is coming, and with it, a dreamlike calm will settle over everything. Soon, you will walk beneath lamplight and moonbeams through the ancient halls where wisdom sleeps lightly and the world grows quiet. But for now, you stand in the fading golden light of Alexandria's greatest treasure, breathing in its peaceful stillness. This is where part 1 rests. Part 2 will carry you through the evening and night inside the library, the moonlit archives, the astronomy tower, and the final sleepy ending. Sun with small cloud, the evening breeze through the colonnades. The sun hangs low over Alexandria now, casting long, white shadows across the stone courtyard. The light changes color from pale gold to soft apricot, then slowly to a warm, glowing umber. You walk once more through the colonnades. The stone pillars hold the fading daylight like gentle lanterns. The air cools just enough to brush your skin with comfort. Somewhere beyond the walls of the library, a distant vendor calls out the last fruit of the day. The tone is not urgent, only habitual, the sound of a city settling itself. Sandals scuff softly along the stone floors as scholars finish their studies and drift toward home. But you remain. You are in no rush. And the library, in these quiet evening hours, seems to open itself to you in a calmer, more intimate way. A librarian passes with a small clay lamp. He smiles, recognizing you now as a gentle wanderer, someone who has taken the day slowly and respectfully. He gestures toward a long hallway where the lamplight glows in honey-colored circles on the ground. You may explore there, his smile seems to say. Evening is a special time for the quiet parts of the library. You thank him quietly and step into the warm glow. Fire the hall of lamps as the sun fades. Clay lamps are placed along the walls and on wide stone shelves in the hall of lamps. The flames flicker in slow, steady patterns. Each one appears to breathe deeply. Light gathers around you like a soft blanket. The library's ceiling becomes darker, but the lamps draw gentle halos on the columns. The shelves cast long shadows like sleeping giants. The air smells faintly of warm oil, papyrus, and stone. Not a single sound is sharp. Not a single moment feels hurried. You move through the hallway as though wandering inside a dream, your footsteps slow, your breath easy, your thoughts drifting like dust illuminated in the lamplight. A scholar sits cross-legged at the base of a column, reading a scroll he has read 100 times before, not for learning, but for comfort. His eyes lift for a moment, meeting yours. His nod is barely perceptible, as if saying, "Welcome to the quiet hours. May the night be kind to your mind." And then he returns to his peaceful reading books. The chamber of whispering shelves at the end of the lamplit hall. You enter a room where the ceiling curves above you in a gentle arc. The sound here feels different. Soft, layered, almost like the hum of distant voices. Not whispers exactly, but the faint suggestion of movement from thousands of scrolls settling as the night cools the air. The chamber is warmed by 3 lamps, placed evenly to cast a soothing glow. Rows of shelves stand close together, not in tight confinement, but like companions sharing a quiet conversation. You run your fingers lightly along one of the shelves. The wood is smooth, polished by centuries of careful hands. Some shelves hold scrolls wrapped in deep red cloth. Others in faded blue, their ribbons tied loosely. A small tag hangs near one shelf, engraved with symbols representing stories of distant cities. You pull a single scroll from the shelf. Not to read it, just to hold it. It feels warm, as though it has kept the sun's memory since afternoon. You close your eyes. You breathe in slowly, and a sense of timelessness settles in your chest. Here, the world is still. Here, knowledge sleeps with you. Here, nothing demands to be learned. You may simply exist in the presence of centuries. You place the scroll back gently, like returning a small creature to its resting place. Clock the room of echoed footsteps. A narrow passage leads you into a chamber shaped like a long oval. The floor is made of perfectly polished stone, so smooth that the faintest sound of your steps seems to glide along the surface. It's not a loud echo, it's more like a soft doubling. A quiet companion walking beside you. Some believed this room was designed to help librarians stay awake during long nights of counting and sorting scrolls. Others believed it was simply a beautiful architectural accident. Whatever its purpose, the effect is deeply soothing. Your footsteps create a slow, rhythmic pattern, a soft beat, a steady, calming loop that matches the gentle tempo of your breath. Like a lullaby made of movement. You walk slowly, tracing the oval path. Once around, twice, each circuit loosening your shoulders, softening your thoughts, releasing a little more of the day. A librarian enters quietly from the opposite side. He gives you a warm, sleepy nod as he carries a small stack of tablets. The two of you pass each other without a word, two dreamers moving through ancient knowledge wrapped in the hush of lamplight. The moonlit terrace. A doorway on the far side opens into the soft night. You step out onto a terrace where pillars frame the view of Alexandria under the rising moon. The city glows in shimmering silver and milky white reflection. The harbor's waters ripple like liquid glass. The lighthouse at Ferris stands strong in the distance, its spire a tiny golden star floating above the sea. Warm night air brushes against your face. A few leaves rustle in the quiet breeze. Somewhere far below, a night bird chirps once, then settles again into stillness. You lean against the stone railing and breathe deeply. The scent of the sea reaches you, cool and delicate. The moon rises higher, casting long beams across the terrace. And for a moment, you feel as though the entire city sleeps with you. Every street, every rooftop, every ship, all wrapped in a blanket of moonlit calm. Crystal Ball. The archivist's lantern. When you return inside, a man approaches carrying a tall bronze lantern. Its flame glows softly through finely carved patterns. He is the night archivist, a gentle guardian of the library who works when most others sleep. His voice is warm and slow when he speaks. Would you like to see the deep archives? You nod. He motions for you to follow, guiding you with the soft glow of his lantern. His pace is unhurried, measured, as though he has spent a lifetime walking these halls at night. The shadows around you lengthen and drift as he moves ahead, light gently leading the darkness. Candle. The deep archives beneath the library. You descend a winding staircase that spirals like a shell. Each step cools beneath your feet. The air grows slightly colder, but comfortably so, like stepping into a shaded garden after a warm day. At the bottom, you find yourself in a vast underground chamber. The ceiling curves low, supported by arches shaped like ancient waves. Clay urns, wooden chests, bundles of scrolls wrapped in linen, all rest here in careful order. The archivist sets down his lantern in a metal bracket. Soft light expands in golden circles. These chambers, he says softly, hold many works still unknown to most. Some half-finished, some rarely read, some so fragile that they rest mostly in silence. He lifts a small bundle tied with a faded rope. This, he whispers, is a scroll no one has read in nearly 100 years. He does not open it. He simply holds it with reverence. The air feels still, yet comforting, as though you are standing inside the breathing heart of memory. You walk beside him between rows of long forgotten texts. The archivist's lantern flickers gently, casting dancing patterns on the curved walls. Nothing here feels airy. Nothing feels heavy. It feels like the earth itself has decided to cradle the stories of humanity in a peaceful sleep. Crescent moon, the astronomer's staircase. When you leave the archives, the archivist leads you to another staircase, this one narrow and rising upward toward the night sky. At this time of night, he says softly, you may find the astronomers. You climb slowly. Every step feels light. You can sense the air changing, becoming cooler, crisper, filled with nocturnal quiet. When you reach the top, a square platform awaits you, open to the sky. A group of astronomers sit on low stools. Their robes ripple faintly in the breeze. A few small bronze instruments lie before them, simple measuring tools, compasses, astrolabes, and scrolls weighted with smooth stones. One astronomer looks up and gestures for you to join them. You sit on a cushion near the edge of the platform. Above you, the stars. Deep and endless and gentle in their shimmering. The astronomer speaks softly, tonight, the air is clear. The sky tells its stories. He points to a cluster of stars glowing like tiny sparks. Travelers once followed these across deserts, he murmurs, because they trusted the sky more than any map. His voice drifts like a soft breeze. Words float around you like fireflies. Another astronomer adds, we measure the heavens not to control them, but to marvel at them. And you feel it, a peaceful, expansive calm that stretches from the earth into the quiet tapestry of the night. You lie back on the cushion, hands folded on your stomach, eyes half-lidded, watching the stars pulse softly in rhythm with your breathing. You could fall asleep here, under the ancient sky, surrounded by gentle minds who speak in whispers meant not to wake the universe. The hall of silent study. After a while, you descend again into the main building. Now the library is nearly empty. The last scholars have left. Only a handful remain in the hall of silent study. The hall itself is arranged for nighttime contemplation. Low lamps burn with quiet flames. Cushions line the walls. Scrolls lie half-open on small wooden stands. The silence is deep but soothing, a silence made of shared presence, not emptiness. You sit on a wide cushion. Your back rests against a smooth stone column. The floor beneath you feels warm, still holding the memory of the day's sun. You pick up a small scroll written in neat, delicate symbols. It's a simple text, a list of herbs and their calming properties. Chamomile for rest, mint for clarity, lavender for breathing, rosemary for memory, thyme for gentle dreams. You read slowly, letting each word melt into the quiet. Your breath aligns with the soft rhythm of the hall. Your thoughts move like slow water in a shallow stream. And your eyes grow heavier. Bell, the night ballet. Small bronze bell rings somewhere deep in the library. Not loudly, not urgently, just once. A single, round note that drifts through the halls like a pebble dropped into still water. It is the signal that the library will soon close. But you are not asked to leave. The archivist returns with his bronze lantern. Walk with me, his smile says, though he speaks no words. You rise gently and follow him through the long, quiet corridors. The lamps burn low now. The air thickens with drowsiness. Even the library itself seems to be preparing for sleep. Newman symbol, the final corridor. The archivist guides you to a narrow passage where the walls glow faintly with reflected lamplight. At the far end is a tall set of doors engraved with flowing patterns that resemble waves, clouds, and drifting scrolls. These, he says softly, are the night doors. He opens them slowly. Behind the doors is a small chamber lit by a single, gentle lamp. A cushioned bench rests against the wall. A carved wooden table holds a cup of warm herbal tea. A scroll sits beside it, blank. Waiting. This room, he whispers, is where travelers may rest before they return to the world outside. You step inside. The archivist places the lantern on a low stand and retreats. The door closes with a soft, padded sound, and the chamber becomes a sanctuary of pure quiet. Cloud, the sleep chamber of travelers. You sit on the cushioned bench. Its surface is soft, filled with linen and wool, shaped to cradle a tired body. You sip the herbal tea. It warms your hands. It warms your chest. It warms the path that leads you gently toward sleep. The lamp flickers once, then steadies into a calm glow. You set the cup aside and lie down. The bench is long enough to stretch out fully. A light blanket rests nearby. You pull it over yourself, feeling its softness settle like a peaceful memory. The faint scent of lavender rises from the blanket. A night breeze flows from a high window just barely open. And the silence holds you the way water holds a resting leaf. Your breath slows. Your body grows heavy. Your thoughts loosen like knots gently untying. In this ancient room of a library long gone, your mind drifts among the quiet wisdom of all who came before. And sleep begins to approach you with calm footsteps. Crescent moon, the library breathes around you as you lie there. You imagine the library breathing softly. The shelves settling, the pages resting, the lamps burning low. The sea outside murmuring in the night breeze. You feel the presence of centuries of quiet minds who walked these halls seeking nothing more than gentle understanding. Their calmness surrounds you like a warm cloud. The ceiling above seems to float in darkness, stars painted on it faintly glowing in the lantern's glow. And your body sinks deeper into the cushion. Your limbs loosen. Your eyelids grow heavy. Your breath becomes steady. Sleep waits, just a moment away. Waning crescent moon, the final drift in the last moments before dreams arrive. You picture the library in its full nighttime calm, the moonlight touching the columns, the sea breeze moving through distant winds, the archivist walking the halls with his lantern, the astronomers packing their instruments under the quiet stars, the city outside dim and peaceful, the waves brushing the harbor in a slow, endless rhythm, and you resting in a small chamber meant for dreamers, for thinkers, for wanderers, for souls who seek gentle places. Everything feels safe. Everything feels soft. Everything feels distant and close at the same time. Your breath deepens, your body softens, your thoughts float, and sleep finally welcomes you like an old friend.